Okay. Hi. Hi everyone, and welcome to tonight's live stream. I actually was just finished with work. So 5 minutes ago, a few minutes ago, I started closing down all that. And now I can, do a nice live stream because my girlfriend is watching Harry Potter with her friend and I'm working evening shifts. So I work in customer service, if you don't know. And so I answer phone calls every day and I talk to customers about their problems in life and their delayed parcels. That's my day job today. It's all about you guys. We're going to talk about the Myers-Briggs type indicator, and we're going to basically this is just a video where you can just ask me anything on your mind. You can just feel free to make the topic your topic and to share what you are talking about. So I hope to bring a bunch of nice people in here and to have some nice conversations. And we are going to go basically have a bit of fun in the MBTI community together. I'm just going to share the link on Twitter for everyone. There we go. It's on Twitter. Feel free to retweet this to other people as well if you want to invite other people. And then let's go on Facebook. By the way, hi to everybody who is already in the chat. Hi to Nathan. Hi to Haha. Nice to have you in there. I know Young looks excited. Young is known for his love of parties and masks and the unconscious and the study of the unconscious, of course. So that's pretty fitting for him, right? So I just discovered Instagram, and so I have been following Instagram for a lot of MBTI related memes. Here's one. This is fine. I'm fine. Basically how I'm handling life. I think that stone looks pretty solid in there, actually. I think that sheep is pretty good. I know you seem a bit afraid when that happens, but hey, that stone is doing great. I don't know if I would want to wear something like that, but hey, whatever people like, huh? I cannot read Muslim or Arabic, so that's not going to work for us. IXFP, let's get married. All right, sure, but listen, I'm listening. You're killing all the bugs, or I'm divorcing. I'll be honest, I'm the one in the relationship that gets rid of the bugs. But that's because I grew up in northern Sweden where there are so many bugs. So for me, it's natural to, just put the spider in the glass and take him outside. I put a spider in the glass. I cannot bring myself to kill a bug. Maybe an insect, maybe a mosquito, whatever. What would make each MBTI cry? INFJ, a great moving story or film, the beauty of life. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Life of Pi, that was it. INFP, is there something that doesn't? Oh no. ENFJ, feeling like they haven't been appreciated in a long time. Oh, I just wish that you would just once, notice me and what I'm doing for us. Oh, that sounds about right. ENFP, being pushed into a state of over emotionality. Yeah, if there's anything ENFPs do not like to become emotional in public. INTJ, betrayal. Oh yeah, that's got a sting. ENTJ, inefficiency and laziness perceived as an elaborate and deliberate sabotage to their goals. So inefficiency makes you cry. That's a fun one. ENTP coming out of a debate, realizing they weren't as good as they used to be. Oh no. Being embarrassed publicly. Someone insults their favorite person, EXFP. Oh no. I think EXFPs and ENFPs are pretty good at standing up for that. I don't know what this means. So ENTPs just want to be liked and be called baby. Is that it? Is that the secret ENTP formula? To be called baby? Lines you may never hear from an INTJ. Asking for a friend. I never thought of that. Your idea is better than mine. Oh yeah, that's the one. Yes, I will be there. Well, your idea is better than mine. I think that's a difficult one for an INTJ to admit. I like that one. Me, after walking past the same person at work I've said hi to 5 times already today. Yeah.
Be able to hate yourself. And just remember, no one will ever be able to hate you more than you already hate yourself. And just remember, no one will ever be able to hate you more than you already hate yourself.
Oh no.
And just remember.
Am I an Enneagram 1? Oh no. One of the best lessons you can learn in life is about being calm. Well, then I've got it. My review on life so far, 1 star. Yeah, that's 2020 at least. Sorry about that. I'm gonna turn off the sound. This thing. What the hell?
I like cashing my head to my ass.
Do the dash. Can you? This is weird. You can't just base your entire personality on stars. Oh my god, MBTI. Introverts have a longer neural pathway for processing stimuli according to the Introvert Advantage by Marty Olson Lenny. Long-term memory and planning are involved in processing information and making introverts attend to their internal thoughts and feelings when they process information. So for an extrovert, basically a stimulus is immediately processed by the brain, but for an introvert, it goes into and is first connected to long-term memory and planning, and then it's processed by brain. I don't know about that. Introverts require less stimulation from the world in order to stay awake and alert than extroverts do, according to Hans Eysenck, which means introverts are more readily overstimulated. I'm definitely very easily overstimulated. Introverts need less dopamine to feel happy. Their brains run on an energy conserving nervous system, while extroverts' brain run on an energy spending system. Introverts can feel content and energized while reading, thinking deeply, or diving into ideas. Introverts feel less excitement from surprise or risk than extroverts. The brain's reward and pleasure system is activated by dopamine neurotransmitters. Scientists found extroverts' brain responded more to gambling results than introverts. Introverts process all the things in their surroundings and process sensory details in the environment, not only people. They treat interactions with people at the same intensity level as inanimate objects. And then, hey, are you listening to me? Okay, so these are my thoughts about this. First, I think when introverts study the world, they study it through a filter. So introverts, they have a set plan or goal before they take in stimuli. So first, before taking in stimulus, the introvert looks at the long-term plan or goal, or they look at some kind of experience they've had in the past. And then they go out and they look at the stimuli and they think, does this relate to this that I've had or this that I'm thinking? And that's perhaps why it can look like it's a longer chain. But I think when an extrovert goes into something, I think it's also with a lot of depth, because when extroverts study things, it's first stimuli, then it's connecting the dots. Does this relate to anything else I've ever experienced, this stimulus? Can I connect this to something that somebody else is feeling? What are the implications of this? What does this mean? So introverts definitely take things quite far and quite long. What comes down to overstimulation, I think this regards more to highly sensitive people. So anybody who's highly sensitive is more readily overstimulated. And I think you have introverts at parties that can be quite cool and quite calm in these situations. So take an ISTP, for example. I think an ISTP at a party can basically be at a party and be cool about it and not feel overwhelmed by it and be like, yeah, I'm here and I'm at the party. And I think I've noticed this with ISFJs, and I've noticed this with, a lot of these sensory introverts, that they're less highly sensitive and less easily overstimulated than are their introverted intuitive counterparts. Introverts need less dopamine to feel happy. I don't know about that. That's an interesting one. So the idea here is extroverts spend energy and introverts conserve energy. That's the most important part here. So what can be said about this? I think energy can be divided into two things. It can be to be rested, and it can mean to be energized or interested in what you are doing. And these are not the same things. It's not the same being rested or calm or recharged and being energetic or curious or excited. You can be excited but tired, or you can be recharged and energetic but bored. So you can have a lot of energy, but you can feel bored and understimulated and drained. So you have to, and I think scientists have to really recognize this when they are looking at introversion and extroversion, because you can't generalize on energy and say this, because everybody means different things when they talk about energy. So you have to look at what kind of energy are we talking about here? Are we talking about energy as excitement, or are we talking about energy as being recharged and being well rested? And so what they mean here with conserving energy, to me, that's basically avoiding draining activities. It's resting, sleeping, reading, recharging, and spending less time spending energy. So having more energy in your reserves. When extroverts talk about energy, or what they talk about here with extroverts, that's basically being curious, being energetic, being enthusiastic, being open to things, being fascinated by things, going out and learning things because you want to know about it. And yeah, so I don't know if you can make this connection at all. Risk taking, I think there's something to this, but it's mainly, I feel, perceiving types tend to be more more adaptable, more open to take risks, where judging types tend to be a bit more conservative and a bit more careful. Yeah, this is worth more discussion. Mr. Sardus writes that acetylcholine is the neurotransmitter that you introverts use the most. Okay, that's an interesting one. What is acetylcholine? Introversion. Like dopamine, acetylcholine is also linked to pleasure. The difference is acetylcholine makes us feel good when we turn inward. It also helps explain why introverts like calm environments. It's easier to turn inward when we're not attending to external stimulation. That's really interesting. Why have I never heard about this? From Quiet Revolution. Can I read more about this? So if we follow this argument, then dopamine is basically feeling good when things are happening around you, being like, wow, things are happening around me. That's great. Oh, look, there's another person. Oh, that's really nice to meet somebody. Oh, that's nice to have visitors. Oh, that's nice that something is happening. Then acetylcholine is, fantasizing, I'm daydreaming about this. No, that's a nice thought. No, I really like thinking about this. No, I like going inside, reflecting about this. Acetylcholine. Thank you, Nathan. Acetylcholine. Okay, I'll memorize that. Hi, Pillager. Um, so when I lounge at home in quiet solitude, lost in a book or watching Netflix, I'm basking in the pleasant effects of acetylcholine. Huh, cute. Acetylcholine is linked to the parasympathetic side of the nervous system, which is nicknamed the throttle down or rest and digest side. When we engage the parasympathetic side, our body conserves energy and we withdraw from the outer environment. Our muscles relax, energy is stored, food is metabolized, pupils constrict to limit incoming light, and our heart rate and blood pressure is lower. Basically, our body gets ready for hibernation and contemplation, two of the things that introverts like the most. Both introverts and extroverts use both sides of their nervous system at different times, just like they use both neurotransmitters. But no big shocker here. Extroverts tend to favor the opposite of side of the nervous system, the sympathetic side, known as the full throttle or fight, flight, or freeze system. This side mobilizes us to discover new things and makes us active, daring, and inquisitive. The brain becomes alert and hyper-focused on its surroundings. Blood sugar and free fatty acids are elevated to give us more energy, and digestion is slowed. Thinking is reduced and we become prepared to make snap decisions, while extroverts thrive on the dopamine charged good feelings created when they engage the sympathetic sides. For introverts, it's too much. So that's interesting. I've always argued that introversion and extroversion is about where you feel the most comfortable. So it's almost linked to comfortable pleasure. So introverts can enjoy being at a party or going out or meeting people just as much as an extrovert, but often introverts tend to associate these activities with more of an uncomfortable sensation or an unwillingness or kind of a forbidden pleasure kind of experience. It's that you feel less calm, you feel less in control when you go out to meet people or when you go out into the world around you. So this is why introverts tend to avoid action. When they go inside, however, they tend to feel calm and stable and in full control. When extroverts go inside, they have the reverse experience. So while extroverts can enjoy reading a book or processing or reflecting on something or reaching a new idea or coming up with a new perspective about things, just as much as an introvert might, an extrovert might find this more uncomfortable. They might find this a bit less steadying and a bit more worrisome. Often extroverts tend to experience introverted experiences with a bit of worry, like, am I becoming cut off? Am I missing what's happening in the real world? Am I forgetting to live life? Am I becoming isolated? Am I becoming cut off? So extroverts tend to have this kind of reverse reaction, feeling that essentially, if they're not reacting to something or responding to something, or if there's nothing new happening in their environment, they're missing out. Mr. Sardis says introverts are more sensitive to dopamine. We use the same neurotransmitters, but we derive pleasure via different ones. Our brains are a little different, introverts versus extroverts. Can we talk about INFPs and drug use? Certainly, Julio. What do you want to say about INFPs and drug use? Here's a topic about it. Do you think INFPs are more prone to alcoholism and drug abuse than other types? I found it's just easier to, on my psyche, to be on some form of incoherent. If I have free time on a weeknight or weekend, I'd always rather be drunk or high and haze my way through it. I think our sensitivity makes us prone to escaping into numbness or otherworldly experiences. Bukowski, asked why he drinks, said that when you drink, the world doesn't have you by the throat for a moment. But on the other, it prevents us from fully giving into addiction. We don't want to hurt our families, friends, and dreams. At least that's how it is for me. Huh. Obviously, I understand why the thought of if the world is against me and if I'm not getting anywhere in life and if I want an escape, alcohol or drugs feel like a really easy and natural excuse. But of course, any type should have these experiences. Any type should be going through stress or difficulty. Nathan says, I assume drug use is somehow related to extroverted sensing. I don't know. I don't know if you could say that. I understand the thought process, but I don't know if that's it at all. Mm. We know people with ADHD are prone to self-medicate. Yeah, I think I'm gonna need to look somewhere else than Reddit for this. Male INFPs are one of the 4 types most common in substance abuse programs, according to the MBTI manual. And INFPs are particularly prone to addiction due to their sensitive nature. I don't know, are sensitive people really more common to become addicts? I know personally I've always been very anti-alcohol. I've never drunk. I started drinking when I was very old. Well, like 25, I started drinking a bit, and then I had like one glass of beer, and that was it for me. So I was never really into drinking, and I never did any drugs. Uh, and I'm a person who would classify myself as very sensitive, but I have struggled with gaming sometimes, like really getting sucked into gaming and basically forgetting about everything around me. And I have a tendency to get very obsessive about what I do and my work. Uh, but as an INFJ, at least, I would not say I've ever struggled with lack of self-control in this matter. Maybe if I became really martyr-like, or if I wanted to really sabotage myself, or I went into a really dark spot, maybe I could see myself going to drugs for it. But I've never been that far down in life that that would ever happen to me. INFPs wouldn't be addicts because they see it as morally reprehensible. Yeah, I would understand that. Many well-known INFPs become drug addicts. This is just because you don't think it's moral doesn't mean you can't get addicted. I think that's a great point, because you can struggle with addiction and you can find it morally reprehensible. Steroid use is probably higher among ESTJs. Well, I don't know if ESTJs would need it. Maybe an INFP would take steroids because they wanted to really be taken more seriously. That could happen. I think with extroverted thinking types like ENTJs and ESTJs, the fear is, I think ENTJs and ESTJs think themselves above becoming addicted. So they think they could quit whenever they want to. They never think their drinking or alcohol use is a problem. They never have issues with or expect any problems from using drugs. They think basically that they are immortal and that they can handle anything. I think with INFPs and introverted feeling types, I think there is naturally often a fear for drugs and alcohol, a fear of substance use. Uh, and obviously this is not the case for all INFPs, and I know some ISFPs and INFPs and yeah, other types like INFJs and ISFJs still do drugs, of course, and get past that, and that can be really difficult because these types can be prone to self-sabotage and self-harm, and yeah, drug use and alcohol use is definitely a form of that, because ESTJs love the gym, lol. I posted some questions in groups just for fun. We'll see what people said about them. ENTPs. Which of these 4 types do you consider the most funny and why? First place, INFPs. Second place, ENFPs. Third place, INTPs. INTJs have not gotten any votes. Sorry, INTJs. Jared says, all of these types are funny to me. INFPs surprise you with their humor. ENFPs just live in a comedy. INTPs make great abstract jokes, and INTJs have the best sarcasm. As an INFP, I don't find myself very funny. ENFPs and ENTPs, they're funny though. I don't know, which types do you find the funniest? Which type do I find the funniest? I think I'm going to say INTPs, because I find INTPs extremely amusing to watch. I find them to be, yeah, many of the INTPs that I like Benedict Cumberbatch and others, I find them to be amazingly funny. So Yeah, that's just my personal experience. INTPs, they have a great sense of humor and a very INFJ-like sense of humor. Just a little bit more harsh than what an INFJ would be, but still I see their humor is very similar to mine. And they're also more openly humorous. Laura Murak says ESFPs are the funniest. Add another vote. INFJs, which of these personality types would you consider to be more empathetic and why? First place, INFPs. No surprise, I guess. Second place, ISFJs. Third place, ENFJs. That's surprising to me. I think I would put ENFJs very high there, but I think I would place INFPs number 1 and ENFJs second place. But then, okay, ISFJs are quite empathetic. This is a difficult one. Come on, why would you add INFJs on this list? This was not meant to be an INFJ vote. I'm gonna remove this alternative, sorry. You're ruining the vote. INTJs got 0 votes. Sorry, INTJs, nobody is voting for you today. Antra says, hi Eric, your videos helped me a lot. I'm an 18-year-old INFP. An Instagram girl tried to seduce me. Wow. Wow, Andrew. That's terrible. Yeah. Be extremely careful on the internet. Catfishes and tricksters are becoming smarter and smarter at these scams. Basically, don't be stupid. Listen, I want to show you guys an ESTJ badass. So I was watching the Black Lives Matters protests in Gothenburg. And so during one demonstration, it did get quite heated. And so we have this guy. Look, this guy is trashing a window of Carlings. So this guy is that's a TJ being a hero right there. He's just going in on them. One guy, and they're all yelling at him, and they're all telling him no. They're all saying no, don't let us trash windows. And he's like, no, stop, don't do it. And he seems quite calm as well. You know, he doesn't seem afraid. He is being assertive and he's being no, stop. And he is telling people to basically get out of there. But he is not being violent or physical. So he's being very mindful of his power and his strength.
Själva demonstrationen var lugn, men den upplöstes av polisen eftersom det var för många deltagare.
There he is again. Look,
he's
coming there. He's just calmly saying no, stop this.
Demonstrationen fortsatte sen
and
genom
then the guy
stan.
comes running past him anyways.
Och då skedde sammandrabbningar mellan polis och demonstranter.
But yeah, I just have to say that's the definition of civil courage and standing up for what's right and doing it in a honest and non-violent manner, being just calm, being reasonable, explaining to people why you're doing what you're doing, and just stopping them from doing it. We need more of that. You know, people have a right to protest and to stand up for what's right, but yeah, in these days with these protests, we also have to look out for one another, and we have to look out for the community. So if somebody is trying to take over these protests or to use them for selfish reasons or to just destroy things, yeah, then if you see that, and if you are brave and if you are secure in yourself and strong in yourself, do your best to show courage for what you believe, and remember to do so in a non-violent manner. Never use force in these situations. You're not the policeman. You should never put yourself in danger. You should never risk harming anybody else. Anyways, that's a hero ESTJ. That's just a side topic. ESTJs are awesome. Did another INFP vote. So the question is, INFPs, which fictional world would you rather live in and why? Of course, number one, we have Harry Potter. Second place, very close call, Lord of the Rings. Third place, Star Wars. Fourth place, Marvel. Fifth place, Star Trek. That's a funny addition. Oh, I should have added Doctor Who. I think I would have liked being Doctor Who. Doctor Who or Harry Potter for me. I don't think I would have wanted to be in Marvel's world. Miss Anima, that's great. That citizens band together in front of stores preventing any looters. That's really good. I've also come out of a political background, and we were very careful with who we let into protests because we were afraid that people would not be trustworthy and that they would put the demonstration at risk by breaking the lines or doing things that you're not supposed to do. Eagle says, as an INFP, I hate cigarettes and alcohol and drugs. Wisson says, as I was younger, I was proud to never drink alcohol, but as I got older, I took it more nuanced. I didn't look at it only morally, but also learned about it more scientifically. That's a good approach. I think it's natural to, as an NF, start out with a very idealistic and very extreme or very strict moral system, and then naturally to become more pragmatic. And I know people don't like the word pragmatic, and the only thing it means is principles to guide you to make the right decision, but they're not there to set it in stone. You cannot basically systematize values and say it's black and white, it's either this or that. It is recognizing that values are about finding and helping guide you to a happy life and a healthy life, and knowing that any value system, if taken too far, can become unhealthy and damaging. Nathan says Doctor Who would be awesome, such a huge fictional universe. Anima says I wouldn't choose any of these worlds. I'm an outlier. Oh, maybe you would be in Narnia then. Cindy says, do you believe the differences between the sexes also have strong influence on how the cognitive personalities express themselves? So essentially, I tend to have, I don't believe sex influences a lot in terms of personality. However, sex does influence a lot. So biological sex has a big impact on behavior and lifestyle choices and upbringing and schooling and basically everything you do in life. And more importantly, we need to talk about gender-related differences. So the difference between sex and gender is a lot more the social constructs around sex. So all the precognitions that we have inside one culture about how women should have it or how men should have it. I think it's hard to generalize about personality and gender because I noticed that there are different gender stereotypes in different countries. So, for example, I've noticed in the Netherlands that it's very common for men to be ESTPs and ENTPs here, while it's more common for girls to be a bit more INTJ-ish or ISTJ-ish. So here, girls are a bit more judging and men are a bit more perceiving. In Sweden, however, it's kind of reversed. In Sweden, the average man is associated with being kind of an INTJ or ISTJ. And the average girl is associated with being a bit ENFP-ish or ENTP-ish. So that creates completely different ideas and conceptualizations about gender. So Swedish female INFJs might be different to German or Dutch female INFJs. It's too complicated to generalize on. I've tried. Mr. Sardis says, come on, people, smash that like button. Thank you, Sardis. Stider, sorry, I cannot type Naruto characters. Okay, I'll give you some of them. Naruto, ENFJ, Sasuke. No, wait a second. Naruto, ESFJ. Sasuke, INTJ. There you go. Those two you can get. It was a long time since I watched that show, though. Male INFPs often develop a dark side. I have noticed that male INFPs that I met are a bit more introverted and a bit more perceiving than the girls. And the INFP females that I know are a bit more intuitive and a bit more feeling than men. So essentially, the INFP girls are a bit more idealistic and the INFP men are a bit more individualistic. So what I see with the men is a bit more, this is me, this is my world, this is who I am. And the girls are a bit more idealistic, focused on their values and beliefs and dreams. It's just something I thought about. Anima smashed the button. That's great. Thank you. If you like and want to support these videos, check out patreon.com/Thor. I want to say I enjoyed this stream, and yeah, it was fun talking to all of you, but it's time to round off. You can also support this stream by becoming a member, clicking the become member button. But also sharing or just being here, no matter what, I appreciate it. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope to see you guys soon.